Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to the channel. I know this is not my usual content, so if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. And if you're a usual customer, this isn't Lego stuff today. We've got the four-wheelers here, so I was able to go four-wheeling for the weekend. We're gonna bust these out for day 2 of riding. Forgot to do an intro for yesterday, so hopefully you guys enjoy all this footage I've thrown together. We're gonna try some different stuff with the some like weird AI effects, so it might just be a hodgepodge of a bunch of random four-wheeling stuff, and I might be able to do some voiceover and explain what's going on. But it's my machine here. Bought it last year. It's been phenomenal. I've been needing to do a review on it because it's one of those, like, I feel like if you're buying a four-wheeler for the first time, this machine has been phenomenal for what we're doing. And we're going to take a technical bit today that I didn't film yesterday. So hopefully you guys can get a nice idea of what these things can do and how comfortable you can be while doing it. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you want to see more kind of content like this, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much again for watching, and enjoy however many minutes of content I decided to throw in this video. Cheers.
All right, so we just got done with that intro clip. I am doing a voiceover after the fact because there's going to be some footage mixed in from both the days. So that intro and then this unloading scene here, this was from the second day. So basically we went with, it's my friend and then his grandpa. His grandpa's like 74, so we ended up actually leaving him at the hotel for the first 4 hours of the second day we went. So we're gonna unload the four-wheelers here. Then I've got a clip. We had to go to Ace Hardware to get some fuses, so I'll kind of review the four-wheeler a little bit, and then we'll pick up with some footage in the woods, and then I'll kind of walk you guys through what we're actually seeing there. And hopefully you guys will enjoy all of this footage here. And let me know if it's like, hey, we gotta have voiceover, or just straight up footage from the woods.
All right, so we just set off, and we had to stop at Ace Hardware to get some fuses real quick because this bad boy right here has been blowing fuses. And unfortunately with these, the lights are tied to the starter, so when the lights blow, you can't start the four-wheeler. So that's something we're having to address. But while we're standing here, I can give you a side-by-side comparison. So mine is a 2023. I bought it brand new. Don't do that. That was a stupid move, but anyway, I bought a brand new four-wheeler last year, so that's a 2023. That's a 2019. So the difference is, real quick, see back here where I got my trail tags, there's a box right here on my friends. So they got that on their 2019. His grandpa's got a similar year. He also has that box. I don't. So that's kind of dumb because you can put like ratchet straps in there, tools, stuff, which is really nice. However, that box does get extremely hot, so be careful what you put back there. So I don't have that. That was probably an option. I didn't get it. I have the updated taillights, which are all caked in mud right now. So those are a little bit smarter than the old school looking ones. I really like mine a lot better. I also got these utility rails, which are really nice. They don't have those on the 2019, and that's actually where I can put the mount for my camera. So that's really nice. And then I also got the front bash bar on mine as well. He doesn't have that. So actually yesterday, I ran this into a tree on the trail we're gonna head down again because it's really fun, super technical. Now, another thing to note, so on that model year, the headlights and the high beams, I can have mine on at the same time. They cannot, it's either or. So that's another thing to note with the newer model. And these are both the Polaris Sportsman 570 with the EPS, which is something I would highly recommend having because having power steering is a lot nicer. And of course, they right now have these little gauntlet things, which are nice. Keep your hands warm. I think they're for snowmobiles. But then every time you want to go to drive, you got to try to get your hand back in here and then navigate with your phone. So it's not ideal. And then we got an extra gas can strapped onto the back of this one. But overall, those are a couple quick differences between the two. And like I said, with doing like a review on this, another thing to note, so in this front box here, I'm doing a review of the four-wheelers while I was waiting for you. My battery is up here. Theirs is stuck way down in the subframe, which is really stupid. So I've been told it's really nice my battery's up here. And that's just a few of the things. Do you got the fuses? Yep. All right, let's rock and roll. More to follow in the future, ladies and gentlemen.
Alright, so like I mentioned in that last clip, that was just kind of a quick review of the four-wheeler. I do want to do a full video on the machine itself because it's been phenomenal, and I haven't had any problems with it so far, and it's been a blast owning it. Now, this clip and then one right after, this was from the very first day, right when we set off, so you can see his grandpa's with us. Like I mentioned, he's 74, so when we go up riding, we kind of have to do a mix of roads and then trails just so he can actually handle it. And here we're just leaving the hotel parking lot. We have to drive down an M road. In Michigan, you have to be very careful. You're not supposed to ride on those, but we had to get to a side road to get off it. And right now, this will just be us taking one of the back dirt roads to go over to the actual trails themselves, and then we'll just kind of have some footage, back and forth of just us just riding in the woods.
Just follow this.
Here we're going to start down. I believe we might have passed a trailer full of dirt bikes, or that it might have been the second day if I remember correctly. But anyway, just going on these trails themselves, they're not too technical, but as you can kind of see from the video, and my camera actually does a pretty decent job of leveling out, which is really, really nice. It's the Insta360 One RS if you're kind of looking for a pretty decent camera. And then right here, you just kind of have to get off, clear the trail just a little bit. There was multiple times where there was fallen brush like this where you could just get off real quick, move it out of the way, so it makes it easier for yourself and for other people coming behind you. And then there were other times where there was full trees falling down that we just had to go off trail, find a way around, and work from there. And so that's just kind of part of the riding. But anyway, the camera itself, like I said, was the Insta360 One RS. It's been phenomenal. It gets pretty decent, clear footage. I think I paid $240 something for it maybe, and you can go on their website and kind of look at what deals and stuff they have. But for me, it's been awesome as I'm kind of breaking into filming this kind of stuff and four-wheeling. And like I said, it really keeps it honestly very level with the trails we were riding. There's a lot of ups and downs, and you're standing up a lot, and your knees are kind of absorbing most of the shock here, and so it is very physical. And luckily it was a little bit colder out, and we were bundled up, so rather than it being 70 or 80 degrees and you sweating your butt off, you were actually able to I would say a little bit kind of enjoy it more. And we had my friend, they snowmobile, so they lent me one of their snowmobile suits, so that was really toasty. So that's one thing I would recommend if you go do something like this in the winter, because we did this in early March. It definitely is imperative that you have the right kind of gear. And like I said, when we have to do different types of riding, so we're not just in the woods, we also have to ride on the road a bit. When you're going 50 miles an hour down a dirt road for 10 miles, it gets really chilly, especially at night, because we kind of ride it after dark as well. So definitely make sure you have the right kind of gear when you're doing this kind of stuff. It can make or break your trip, honestly. But like I said, doing it in the cold wasn't too bad. We had the right gear, and it wasn't super dusty. If any of you checked out my 50-minute video, which I posted, that was literally just a compilation of footage from about 9-10 months ago when we went, and it was extremely dry up in Michigan for months, and it was just dusty like crazy. Honestly, it was kind of miserable at times, but this was a lot easier. And then, like I mentioned earlier, this is kind of one of those clips where you just have to pick a spot, go off the trail a little bit, mow down some of these smaller trees, and just kind of go for it. And luckily, like I said, these machines are extremely capable. They're the Polaris 570 Sportsmans, basically just optioned with the electronic power steering. And like I mentioned that clip before, mine's got a couple little extra things, but not some of the stuff my friend's has, like that utility box. So, if you're ever going to buy a brand new machine like this, you just want to make sure you are optioning it correctly and for what your needs will be. And you don't need all the fancy stuff, but some of that is definitely very helpful. And then after this, I think this is the clip right after we got past that. We just kind of keep going on and continuing through the woods. And here again, we're just continuing on through the woods, and it was so nice, the fact that, it's doing this in March when no one else is up there, because we went up on a Friday and a Saturday, so you're not really running into anybody on these trails, because technically these trails are two-way trails, so you do have to be cautious. And I mean, we're ripping through here at, anywhere from probably 10 to 20 miles an hour, depending on if you have a straightaway or not. And of course, I think right here again, just another instance where you just got to get off, get some stuff out of the way. So of course, again, not only do you have to worry about potentially other people, but you got to worry about the hazards, and of course me just being a dork here, waving to the camera, and of course continuing back on through the woods here. It's kind of nice, you get the mix of like fall leaf colors, but then there's snow on the ground, and then the evergreens are also turning too. So honestly, for me, like, taking a day off work on a Friday, going up, leaving Thursday night, going up Friday and Saturday, and then traveling back on a Sunday, for me this is really relaxing, and I really enjoy it.
Seems to be getting lost a lot. I keep missing. What? I keep missing. It's too cold to have my phone on all the time. You should have this one? Yeah. Okay.
So right now, as of this point in the trip, we are now heading off to a Polaris dealership because my buddy was actually looking at trading in their 2019 potentially, because his grandpa was going to try to split it with him and buy a new one. So that's where we're on our way to right now. And then right in a second, I should be about to slow down. I don't know if you can tell right up ahead, but like 5 or 6 deer kind of crossed the road here. So that was another thing. We probably saw maybe 50 deer in total at some point because they just hop across the road. So that is something also you need to be very careful about. And then I think this clip actually picks up after we got back from that dealership, so it's like the trail takes you right to a massive dealership. And the one we went to, they had to have had, millions of dollars worth of inventory. They had four-wheelers, snowmobiles, side-by-sides. They had to have had 50, 60 side-by-sides. So, it was just absolutely bonkers. And they had a whole storage barn full of snowmobiles. So, it was definitely a really cool experience going in there. Unfortunately, I got poking around and found some motorcycles for sale, so now I've got thoughts in my head to buy a new motorcycle. But anyway, back to the footage. We're just kind of leaving from there right now. And one thing to note, because I think it was from that last little bit there when we were kind of talking before I picked up with the voiceover. So something we use when we go up is called Polaris Ride Command. So it's just it's an app that Polaris provides for you, and it's essentially just a maps app that tracks trails, and then you can actually track your rides on the app as well. So basically you just click start ride, and then it will track you as you go along. So it'll track what trails you go down, what distance you did, how long it took, and then you can actually join rides with your friends. So my friend at one point, he was on the same ride, so we can kind of tell where each other were at on the trail, which is really nice in case you go on a future trip, because in the app there's like a place to save all those rides. So if you're like, hey, I really liked that one ride we went up on in 2018 or something crazy, you can go back in your app and go, oh, well, on this day, in 2018 we went down these trails here, and then here's where we parked, and whatever the case may be. So that is really nice that you can go back and do that. So that's a lot of what we use for navigation, and that's another thing. So it's like it is cold out, so my friend, he's got those little gauntlets protecting his hands. We didn't have to have gloves on, and then he can access his phone a little bit easier. So if you do go up, I highly suggest having somebody make sure your phone has service, or take the passcode off, so then you can just easily look at that Polaris Ride Command app, and then you can have that accessible just to check the footage. And then right here, my friend, he's going to let me pass him so I can get some footage just of the trails. So we try to do that throughout the trip, just kind of switching back and forth who's leading down a trail, so then I can kind of go full bore as his grandpa is following us, because he does take it a little bit easier on these trails, because again, he's 74 doing this with us, so he kind of has to be a little bit more cautious than I can be. So I can kind of bolt ahead a little bit. So again, just having that Polaris Ride Command app is extremely helpful. Like I said, you can track the rides, track how many miles you've done, and then save that for future reference. So there was about, I think, maybe 4 or 5 hours of footage total from this whole trip. And of course, if you've made it this far in the video, I don't necessarily know what per se people who like watching ATV videos or four-wheeling videos like to watch. I know my friend who watches a bunch of snowmobile videos, he's like, hey, the commentary is really important, and I didn't realize how good the audio was from my camera. So I could totally probably, like in a clip like this, I could be talking to the camera right now, and I'm sure it would pick my voice up completely fine. But of course, I didn't know that at the time, or that I should be commentating on what I'm seeing. So that's why, of course, I'm going back over in voiceover after the fact, just so I'm not just posting another 50-minute video of just straight up trail content. Unless some people might like that. Maybe you want to go to sleep to four-wheeling sounds and you just want to play that before you go to bed. If you do, that'd be sweet. Then you can watch my video so I can get that watch time to try to get some A, more subscribers, but B, to get monetized, because I think I need like 3,000 watch hours. So if you want to put that 50-minute four-wheeling video on repeat, or even this one on repeat, that would be most appreciated. But anyway, like I said, so that's why I'm going back in voiceover, just for that. And this was just really fun. If you ever, if you like four-wheeling, or you've never been before, I would highly recommend it. Like doing this kind of stuff, you're not doing anything too stupid. You're just kind of tooling around in the woods. You can kind of go fast if you want. You can take it slow if you want. You can find some technical stuff, just riding the road for a bit. Like, it can suit a lot of different people's needs. And of course, these trails are a little bit tighter. So if you got, dirt bikes, these would be fine on there. Or if you got side-by-sides, you have to find something bigger. But, like I said, using that ride command app is super helpful to try to figure out where you need to go. So I'll let the rest of this clip play out, and then we'll pick up the voiceover once it gets to the next clip here. Once again, as you saw there was just a couple trees we had to move out of the way, and then you can get back to the riding. So like I said again, it's always good just to be kind of aware of what you're doing. Don't just blindly bolt ahead around the corners. And if you can tell, like I said, this camera did a really good job of like the AI stabilization in it, so I really enjoyed using that camera that I have. But this trail was really nice because there's a lot of like built up corners. But the thing is, with those built-up corners, it's like there's a hump right in the top of it. So there's like the curve built up, but then there's also a little hump in the curve. So then it's like if you try to gun it around the curve, then it's like you're dipping back in, and then you're kind of getting thrown off when you do it. So you definitely did have to be just a bit careful and kind of time when you hit the accelerator. So rather than riding the brake the whole time, on the straight parts with the bumps, I try to just time when I accelerate out of it, so I'm not bumping around too crazy. But again, these, I thought these trails were really fun. This is the kind of stuff to me, and if I'm going to go up and, take time off of work, this to me right here is four-wheeling. But like I said, with going with my friend and his grandpa, we kind of have to mix stuff up, because like after we got done with this trail, because this was footage from day one, he was definitely telling us, he's like, yeah, I can't, he's like, let's not do any more of that kind of stuff, because the next day, actually, we left him at the hotel. And then right here, I just threw in a clip. So we rode all the way over to Lake Michigan. So this is a clip from a beach in Ludington. And personally, I wanted to drive down onto the beach, get a pictures, in front of the water, or maybe do some donuts in the sand. But apparently, that would have been majorly frowned upon. And then just a warning real quick. This is where I tried some AI weirdness from my Insta360 app. So there's going to be like a cyberpunk. There it is. Super crazy stuff. So this is like an AI effect you can add in. and then there's going to be one more after that. So if you think that's kind of cool, let me know. Otherwise, if you're like, hey, that was kind of dumb and random, you shouldn't put that in there. You can also let me know in the comments as well. So that's why when I originally mentioned that first intro video, I had messed with that the night before, and I was like, ooh, AI, maybe that'd be cool. But, like, you know, it was, I guess, is what it is right there. And then, of course, back to just the normal footage. I think this now might be from day 2, so this is after my friend's grandpa. He stayed in the hotel for a few hours, so we took this trail. Like, this was one massive trail we were on for almost 4 hours. And at one point it gets super duper technical, and that footage I have downloaded. I think there's maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours of footage I still have to go through. It's not even in this video, so I'll have to go through that.
Just keep going straight on this one. Here. And like I said, we'll just, at each row we'll flip-flop. I want to check the angle real quick, make sure, because when I'm riding, make sure it's not just getting like the trees.
It's like I was mentioning before that audio actually came through. There's about maybe another hour and a half of footage that I have to go through. There was actually some really fun stuff, maybe the more technical stuff that we actually did, and I really enjoyed, honestly. But I don't think that's going to make it in this video, because I think doing that 50-minute video might have been too long. But maybe with this video, you know, being about a half an hour long and me actually talking over it, might get some more views. But anyway, right here I was just mentioning, so with that Insta360 app, or well, the camera again is the Insta360 One RS. With the app, you can actually check the angle of, you know, and like the camera on your phone. So I would periodically check that, because at one point I had the camera mounted on my helmet, so I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like sticking up, you know, just getting the sky or like the ground. So I wanted to make sure the angle was good. So that's definitely really nice about that camera, that I can do that kind of stuff on the go. And then here again, this is just, you know, one of those little stop signs, because there's a road crossing. So I think I mentioned in one of the previous clips, I just kind of flip-flop with my friend here. That way then, you know, I can get some footage of him driving. That way you guys can kind of tell maybe how technical the actual trails are, because with the way I have the camera mounted, you can't actually see me moving on the machine. But at least with this, you can kind of get an idea of, you know, what we were actually doing the whole time based on watching how he moves. And I kind of tried to stay close behind him, A, to film, but also B, then I could kind of read how his machine was reacting, because they're basically identical machines. Mine's just 4 years newer, you know, of course with a few little updates, but you know, then I can kind of see, okay, how's the suspension going to react to this bump? How's it going to dip this way? Do I, you know, get on the throttle a little bit more? So that's kind of stuff I tried to do to help, you know, make the ride a little bit easier. And again, you know, just kind of switching back and forth so we can get some footage, because I talked to him, you know, if I can get him a camera, that way then we can both like film each other. That might be kind of nice for the future. So definitely trying to work out the kinks. And you know, like at one point I had to actually plug in the camera while I was on my helmet and messing with storage space, so that was definitely a battle. So real quick, this is just a clip of some Clydesdales we saw in the backroads of Michigan, and in this clip we got caught by the police. Apparently we weren't supposed to be in town, so my friend's grandpa, he's like, you know, get a picture of me getting like patted down, so that's what happens. And then I actually narrate this next clip. We get escorted out of town, but some of it you can't hear as well.
Alright folks, we have a police escort out of town.
So again, this is us getting escorted out of town, so the cop's right up there ahead, and then actually my friend's grandpa, you'll see off to the left, he almost, you know, hits his car, because I think his glasses were getting fogged up because we get late at night, and you know, it was a little bit hard for him to see, because he just kind of goes there, and we were both looking at each other like, what is he doing? But anyway, the cop kind of pulls off there, and then we head straight down this road, and at this point, it's got to be like 30, 40 degrees, so it's absolutely freezing. So in the next clip, I try to explain kind of what's going on, but you can't necessarily hear it. But at this point, we're getting pretty much close to the end of the video, and the camera work, I was trying to hide it because I know the police would get mad, so that's kind of what's happening.
Thank you. That was wild. have to check each city's ordinance on what allows four-wheelers. So Reed City, which is where we're at for the moment, they don't allow four-wheelers. And yeah, they check the confines of the city, or like the city limits to see what does not allow it. So that was super crazy, man. It's freezing out. We gotta make it back to their hotel. But that's what you do when you go four-wheeling. Something's going crazy. Alright.
And again, just a quick recap from that clip. Like I said, the audio wasn't the best. It was freezing out. I was trying to film and drive at the same time. Basically, we weren't supposed to be in that city with four-wheelers, apparently. You're supposed to check each city's ordinances online, apparently. Luckily, we didn't get a ticket, but it was kind of an interesting experience. And then, of course, here we made it back safe and sound. We just load up the four-wheelers, and then this will pretty much be the end of the video, at least with me doing the voiceover. There'll be one or two clips after this. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did like me doing a voiceover, let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much again for watching. Appreciate all of you. See you in the next one. Well, that's it. We made it. We're all alive. Super fun.
Barely.
Barely, yeah. Mine's out of gas. That one, it gets grainy when you zoom in like that. Wow.
Yeah.
Sick outro. Well, everyone, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you on the next one. Okay. I'm turning this off.